A lot of business owners and managers will tend to put the conversation or the termination decision off because they're afraid of how it will impact the rest of the company and the company's morale. More times than not, once the termination takes place, then you start to get feedback on why didn't you do that months ago. Well, prior to actually going through with the termination, you want to go through a checklist of items to make sure that you have all of your ducks in a row. I'd like to call that the termination checklist. Speak to the supervisor in charge of that person, if that's not you, to make sure that they haven't filed any recent complaints. You want to make sure that they haven't filed for any leave of absences recently, or had any kind of recent injury in the workplace, because any one of those, if any one of those have happened, it may look like a retaliation termination, which could get you into some legal trouble. So you want to go through that checklist to make sure that from a legal standpoint, you have all of your ducks in a row. If your reason for terminating is something to do with performance or a violation of company policy or policies, you want to make sure you have all of your documentation in place and ready before you sit down to have the discussion with someone. Finally, you want to also make sure that you collect any company property that they may have. So you want to make sure you have a checklist of those items so that they don't walk out the door with any of those. You want to be direct and focused when you talk to the person. This is not the time for discussion or negotiation. You want to tell them directly that this is what's happening. You don't want to be ambiguous. Well, you haven't really been doing a good job, so let's talk about that. You want to make sure you're direct and they understand they're being terminated. If you can at all, end the meeting on a positive note. At some point, this employee brought value to the organization. So if you can at all find something positive to say about them to end on a good note, shake their hand as they leave, let them know that you're willing, there's a contact person for them to reach out to gather additional belongings or with follow-up questions regarding benefits or something like that. Find a way to end it on a positive note if you can at all.